used to spin yarn. So instead of using a very expensive spinning wheel, you can spin yarn with a drop spindle. Hi, another noisy day in the city, but I wanted to make a video and show you how to use a drop spindle. So this is a drop spindle, and it's basically a nice long stick with a weighted item on the top. Circle. This is called a whirl. And then at the very top, I have a hook. And this is used to spin yarn. So instead of using a very expensive spinning wheel, you can spin yarn with a drop spindle. There's also supported spindles, and I'll do videos about that. I actually prefer a supported spindle over a drop spindle, but I really wanted to show you how to use a drop spindle today. To get started, I'm going to put a lead on the top of the hook, and the lead is just about 3 inches of a hoop or 6 inches of a hoop of any type of string or yarn. So you just put it there. Now, most spinners spin in a clockwise direction because you'll be making 1 ply of yarn with the wool. And then if you're going to make more than 1 ply, so if you want to make 2 plies or more, you would spin counterclockwise to spin 2 single ply strands of yarn together. For this demonstration, we're just going to make 1 ply, so we're going to spin clockwise. So you see how I just spin? There we go, and I'm just going to spin backwards. So to add some wool, I'm using this beautiful dyed carded wool, and it's been carded in a really nice bat. And what you do is you draft. Drafting is just pulling apart to make the yarn a little bit more manageable, a little bit more thin. So I've pre-drafted some yarn to use. Because I like making art yarn rather than a very even, thin strand, I like to have a lot of over twists and nice big billowy clouds and things like that. So here I have my lead on the drop spindle, and I'm just going to add a little bit of that drafted wool and just hold it. And what we're going to do is take this wool and spin clockwise, and that's going to put twist and make a single strand of yarn. So I'm going to move this out of the way around my arm or around my back and just start to spin clockwise. So as I'm spinning, there's twist coming in, and you see as I pull, draft away, I'm getting that nice thin twist. And when it stops twisting, I'm going to pinch that end, and I'm going to spin this again. You can hold it and spin it, or you can just spin. And why it's called a drop spindle is people used to walk around and spin and walk around, and then you can stop. It's called parking. And then I'm going to go like this. I'm just going to move my finger, and now when I let go of this very twist here, it's going to twist up the yarn. So that twist is just traveling up the yarn. There we go. And I'm twisting it. And then when you've got a good long bit of yarn, you're going to wrap it on the bottom. So I'm just going to hold and wrap it on the bottom. So there's my single ply, and there's I love my little cloudy bumps. And then I'm going to hook it back on. I've got all that nice pre-drafted yarn, and I'm going to spin again clockwise, creating a lot of twist. And I'm going to over twist. So here I'm going to over twist, and you can see all those bumpy twists. And now I'm going to just move my hand up, and that twist is going to travel up and twist that yarn, creating a nice single strand of yarn. And this is very strong. And then when I'm done with that, about a meter or so, I'm just going to twist around. There you go. And come back and hook on and do it again. Spin my drop spindle. And then pull along. I can spin and pull along. And then take it off. Go. Okay, now I'm going to show you a different way. I'm going to turn the camera and show you what it's like when I stand up and do this. Okay, a drop spindle is actually better if you're standing up, because then you can really get a good long spin. So here I'm going to spin clockwise, and spinning is putting loads of twist in, and I can just drop. And here it comes, it's dropping and it's spinning and it's dropping and it's spinning. See? And I can draft, and then when it gets good and long, I stop and wrap. And long ago, when people used these before spinning wheels, or even when spinning wheels were around, people used to have belts, and they would just keep it in a belt, and you could, or they would take it out of their belt, and when they were walking from one chore to another, they would spin, and then draft and spin and draft and spin. And here it comes up. There we go. Okay. Now, if your yarn breaks off, I'm going to show you this. So I'm going to break it off. So if the yarn, unspin it a little bit, and breaks off, then just put it together with the working yarn and spin again. And that twist will grab onto the working yarn and spin it up. And when you're done, say if you're finishing up and you're done for a little bit, just wrap it around and you can just let it go. And there you go. And then you just keep spinning and spinning until you have a nice long single strand. And here comes the noisy lawnmower again.